Welcome again to the Reimagine Nigeria podcast. I'm your host today. My name is Sandra Bitrus, and with me here today is the founder and convener of One Nigeria Citizenship Appreciation Initiative. She is a founder, a mother, a lawyer, and a lover of Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bistrus, for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic which has to do with Nigeria. Like you know, we talk about Nigeria here, it's all about Nigeria. So today we were talking about June 12th, which is Democracy Day. And we all know that June 12th is a very important day for Nigeria. I would like to ask you, ma'am, what does Democracy Day means to you?
Nice question, Ms. Bitrus. I would say June 12th, as the day we finally picked in Nigeria as our Democracy Day. It started during the Obasanjo's tenure, and then we had May 29th, which was the day when we had the first election after many years of military rule. So democracy, for those of us who were around during the military era, meant a lot to us. It was a year that we waited for, where there was a lot of music about we need the civilian to be in government, and Nigerians believe that things would actually get better once we have people wearing the same clothes like those on the street in power, as opposed to rule by force, where the rule of law is suspended. So Democracy Day means a lot to every Nigerian because it's meant to represent the interests of the majority of the people, where you have government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So June 12th is actually an iconic day. But then we picked June 12th eventually because the history actually will not be complete for Nigeria if we do not refer to the June 12th election, which would have brought in MK Abiola. It was actually the first and the biggest turnout I have ever seen in my own short years in Nigeria and on earth, where all Nigerians really trooped out, believed in the election processes, and went out. So June 12th for me represent, or Democracy Day, represent hope. June 12th represent hope that one day we will still have that kind of turnout in our elections. We'll still have people believe again that Nigeria can be ruled by their people, for the people. And that will be the true essence of democracy. June 12th might be celebrated now, but the true essence of June 12th is something I look forward to.
Thank you very much for that very important and vibrant answer. So moving on, from what you said is very interesting. I would like to know, do you think, is there a way Nigerians misunderstand democracy?
Yeah, to a reasonable extent, have had there are different uh, touch to it. We have Nigerians believe that, oh, we actually have democracy. We have Nigerians also say that democracy does not fit the African settings, because democracy is supposed to be the way of practice by the Western world and all that. But then democracy is actually very African. Over the years and in time past, you've seen the way our rulers ruled from the north to the south to the east. We have what the people believe in. They ruled from morality to eventually what became the law. And that's what democracy talks about: social justice, uprightness, equity, equality, fairness. That's what democracy represents. And so when Nigerians start seeing it as democracy is a description of what it should be when you have leaders in power who are not rulers but leaders, leading according to what would be beneficial to the people and not just to the minority or to the few that are in power. So democracy really should be understood from that point of view. We would embrace it, and to have democracy in full force, it still has to do with election processes. One of the things that I would want to still emphasize for Nigeria. For us to have the Nigeria we really want, Nigerians will have to participate fully and wholly in the electoral processes for us to have a true democracy.
Wow, thank you so much. Moving on, I would like to ask again. From what you said, I believe democracy, like our basic government knowledge, for the people, by the people, and for the people. So, do you believe that democracy actually delivered for Nigerians? And if your answer would be no or yes, in what way do you think we can unlearn or relearn to actually achieve a good democracy in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you for that, Ms. Bistrus. I would say that democracy, to a reasonable extent, has brought some good to Nigeria. For those who were under the military rule, you can actually tell the difference. You would hear sometimes in the quarters on the street, in some quarters on the street, maybe we should go back to military era. Well, for those under the military era at those times, they wouldn't want to go back to that era. The truth is democracy has come with some level of freedom that you probably would not have had if things were not there. So has it brought us some good? Yes. Can it be better and improved upon? Absolutely. So where we are right now is where Nigerians can start embracing democracy in its full force, understanding what it means, and practice the true essence of democracy. Rather than coming to power under democracy, or you have your political party tapped a democratic party, but then in the actual sense of it, you're not practicing democracy. And so in the near future, we're hoping to see people represent these ideas, our political parties with clear ideology, pushing out the democratic values as they ought to be. And then Nigerians can be fully soaring on the values of democracy. So we have something to look forward to.
Thank you again. We're almost rounding up on this episode today. So I would like to know, I know you to be an unwavering supporter of Nigeria. You so much believe in Nigeria, Nigerian youth, which is one of what you do at One Nigeria Citizenship Appreciation Initiative, where you prioritize and speak on civic responsibilities of Nigeria. You preach patriotism and self-reliance at the same time. So as a leader, I would like to know, if you have 5 minutes with Nigerian youth today, what would you tell them to actually change their belief in Nigeria? Because we have so many youths out there that have lost hope. Not even youths, Nigerians generally. So many people have actually lost hope in this country. But for a believer and lover of the country like you still believe this country has so much to offer to everyone. So what if you had 5 minutes with Nigerian youth today? What can you tell them, or what will you tell them to actually bring back their belief in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. When you ask the question, I tell myself I can go on talking about Nigeria for the next 5 minutes, for the next 1 hour,
I know.
and for as long as I live. But then, for the purpose of this podcast and for time purposes, I'll probably just say to Nigerians, youth in particular, that the time is yours. The time is right, and the time is now for us to take the helms of this country in our own hands and make sure that we deliver a country that we can be proud of. Those who are in power today, that most of us call the elders that are refused to leave power, all got into governance at your age, at your time. So what are you exactly waiting for until you have white hairs on your head or until your backs are bent? So I'll say to the Nigerian youth, the power is in your hand. The strength is within you. You can make this country a better place. So rise up, get up, and do something meaningful for this country, because posterity will all judge all of us. What we did with our time, what we did with our strength, what we did to actually build a nation. The second thing I might want to emphasize for Nigerian youth, that as much as your strength is in now, it is not actually the time to leave Nigeria to other shores, to go and benefit from the labor of other people who had done something for their own country. It is time for you to build your own home. It is time for you to build your own house. It is time for you to lay the foundation for the younger ones coming after you. You are not leaders of tomorrow. You are leaders of today. Take up that responsibility and make sure that you bring this nation to where it should be. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope our listeners are listening to see that and to know that change begins with you and I. So it's not enough to just give up on the country. Just put in your best, put in that little effort. Let it start from you and see where the change will come from. Now, my last question, Ma, I would like to ask you, looking at politics in Nigeria today, if we look at the statistics of women in politics, is actually relevantly low, and it's something that we preach every day, that women should be involved in politics. So as a woman that you are, and a leader at the same time, I would like to know, do you believe, or what do you think women can fundamentally bring in politics in Nigeria?
A whole lot.
I know.
A whole
So
lot.
please,
Thank
can
you,
you help us dissect more?
Thank you. So I would say that there's a slogan that comes along with some of my campaigns, which is that every nation is a mother. There is no nation without a family unit, and there's no family unit without the mother. The general saying that we've taken for granted is when they say you train a woman, you've trained a whole nation. It's very, very important. Women play pivotal role, not just in family, but in society, in every area where they could be. They are the mothers of the country. They are the mothers of the men. They are the nurturers. And sometimes when you look at the country, especially Nigeria, wherever we are right now, the country needs a lot of succor. The country needs the touch of women in politics. We've been led so far over the years by many men in different positions, in numbers. But now it's time to start trying the other gender and see if they bring something different. And of course, they bring something different to the table. And that actually could be the turnaround Nigeria has waited for. And I've told everybody, we've asked for change, we've campaigned for change for many times. We've had political parties have change as their mantra. But the true change will not come until probably you change the gender of the number one Nigerian citizen. As long as that is possible, as much as you can in every cadre, in corporate and private businesses, you need to involve more women in leadership role. Nigeria will have a better story to tell. I can assure us of that. Because women bring something very different to the table, especially at crucial times like what we have right now in Nigeria.
Absolutely right. I can agree less with you on that. Thank you so much, Ma, for your thoughts on our questions today. So we have audience in the building, and we would like to take questions or any questions from the audience to see.
Okay. Good afternoon, or good afternoon, Ms. Bisaya. So, I have a question which I've written down as we're talking, and I would like to say it to you. So, you've led in law, in business, and in civic advocacy. What would you say is a common thread, like amidst all three of those things, in leadership too?
Well, I'll say consistency. And why did I pick that? I believe that you will not get any change if you have not stayed on something for so long. And this also is a message I try to tell Nigerians. It's too early to give up on Nigeria. We're not up to 100 years. So we keep doing what you're doing that is good for the good of the country. You stay consistent, you get better at everything. So the year I started my law practice is not the year I became so much of an expert. I have grown in that legal profession. As a business person, I have grown from building and starting small businesses to now being in charge of companies that are international in status. And in every area of it, I've stayed consistent, I've built on knowledge, I've improved on what I know, and then I do things better, it comes out better. And so it's a word I will also say to the younger Nigerians, stay consistent, and then your competency eventually would improve, and it will have a positive effect on your immediate environment and your nation and world at large.
Like this. As a lover of Nigeria that you are, man, as a nation builder, what kind of leadership does Nigeria really need now? And also for the upcoming youths that have been trying to do something and that have been maybe going out there to vote, to partake in the elections, to try to join building Nigeria, and have been discouraged in time past. What advice do you have for them? What can be unlearned for those kind of youth? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. One thing I would say to address leadership issues in Nigeria is Nigerians do not deserve leaders who think that they are separate from the people. And that's over the years, that is what we'll find. When people get into the power, when they get into the position of power, there's this divide. And that's one of the things that leads to mistrust. You think it's the way the life is in the villa that it is on the street. You do not know how the people feel and what the people feel. And I'll probably give, for example, in as much as leaders usually have good intentions, we don't want rulers. We want people who understand what is going on the street, what is going on in homes of people who cannot afford things. So if you're going to be a leader, the kind of leader Nigerians should have, it's someone who feels the pulse of the people, who understands the pain on the street, who knows that even though the policies might be right, they might actually be killing some people at the same time. So you need to know how to mitigate the harshness of your policies, even though the outcome in your eventuality will be positive and good for the country. We need leaders who are awakened to the reality of the effect of their decisions, and leaders who are not unnecessarily throwing pageantry around, not mindful of how it could hurt their citizens. You must first be a citizen before being a leader, and that must always show in the way you lead Nigerians. Not rulers, genuine leaders, empathetic leaders, visionary leaders. Those are the people Nigeria needs at the realm of affairs at the moment. And I do hope we'll get people who are actually with us, Nigerians for Nigeria. Thank you.
So we'll take the last questions, please. Thank you.
So we've been seeing posters of your political ambition for 2027 election. So we want to know, is it true? And if yes, why now?
There are no posters out for 2027. But do I have interest in running for political office in 2027? Definitely. And there's no better time than now. There's no better time to come out and represent the interest of Nigerians. I've spoken about this for years. I've told us about how it is necessary for us to fix leadership positions or leadership issues in Nigeria. And I would be an aberration if I continue to stay on the sideline without working on actually getting my hands dirty or dirtier than I've ever done for the cause of this country. I said, every nation is a mother. My country right now, Nigeria right now, bleeds. Nigerians right now are suffering. Nigerians right now, they are crying out from the depth of their heart for a true and a genuine change. And if I am going to just sit and watch and do it from the little corner of my room to the little people that I could reach, I would not be doing justice to the willingness, the ability, and the competence that lies in turning the country around. And for that purpose, yes, I'll be putting myself forward for office in the years to come, definitely. And if the people says yes, who am I not to say?
Thank you so much for your questions, and most importantly, Ma, to you for your invaluable thoughts and expressions on this episode today. Till we come your way next week, please join us again for another episode of Reimagine Nigeria podcast. For today, I'm your host, Sandra Beatrice. Hope to see you next time.